Welcome back to Teresa's Dead. My name is Theresa and I'm very much alive. I have an awful garbage filthy mouth, so viewer discretion is advised. But if you're not into that or weird shit in general, this is definitely not the place for you. Feel free to exit the video here. No harm, no foul, but I'll remember our time fondly. Oh, hello my little dumplings. Today I am going to be reviewing one of the many things that I purchased during the Sephora sale. Initially I wasn't going to pick up this palette because I had a horrible experience with the first one. There were some good moments in that first palette, but ultimately got overshadowed by the horribleness that is that palette. And honestly, I didn't feel like experiencing deja vu, but here we are. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about the new Patrick Ta Major Dimensions 2 palette. I'm gonna flip it this way because it's mirrored and it will blind you. This palette, ooh. So let's see if this is a complete waste of time and money. The palette retails for $68. A daily wardrobe of rose tone neutral shades that will become your daily go-to palette. A mix of warm, cool, and neutral matte, satin, and pearlescent shades with 2 cream bases create the perfect rich canvas for your shadows. For $68, you get this beautiful mirrored palette. And it looks somewhat similar to the first packaging, except it has this really snazzy border on the outside. I love and hate this packaging. Why? Because yes, it looks beautiful, but once I put my little Cheeto dusted hooves on it, then it looks disgusting. But when you do open her up, you get a nice sized mirror, and here is your 12 pan color story. You'll notice that it's pretty much almost the same layout as the first palette. You'll have your 2 cream shadows here with this nice little window. We love that. And then on the top, you'll have 5 shimmer shades, and on the bottom, you'll have 5 matte shades. When I was looking at the original palette, again, similar layout, except there's a middle shade here that was awful. Yeah, I think it was like matte with sparkles or some shit. I did not like that. The top row was, no. Everything else was great, top row not so much. I was happy to see that there was actually shimmer shades as opposed to some weirdo shade in the middle. Now, while this color story is very pretty, is it revolutionary? No. I think it's a very beautiful, rosy, basic bitch palette. In today's video, I'm gonna show you 4 different looks that I created. Mind you, I am still kind of playing around with my new lens. So the first look is fine, and then the other looks are kind of like you see a big chunk of my big old forehead. I don't know. Ugh, it's aggravating, so bear with me as I try to troubleshoot this in the future. But I did create 4 different looks. I do have the actual look at the end portion of the video, but like the whole getting there is kind of corrupted by my big old fucking forehead. But just wanted to give you a heads up there. Anywhoosies, let's break it down by formula, starting with the creams first. I need this brand to just quit just fucking around and just release an all cream palette. I didn't care for cream eyeshadows for the longest time, and I think it's because I never tried a good one. Lately, I've been finding a lot of nice cream shadows, and these are probably my favorite because of its formula. It's beautiful. I have no issues with application or longevity. It's the perfect creamy balance where it's like not too wet, where it starts to disappear in your crease. It has a nice base where you're able to blend out the edges with a nice fluffy brush, making the look a little bit more airbrush, a little bit more seamless. It's so fucking pretty. And these will be my go-to look as I decide to live my best life in the sun before I ultimately burst into fucking flames. I'm beyond impressed. I just wish this brand would just make more cream shadows. There's something extraordinary about the formula, and I just need more of it. Besides wearing them on their own, I feel that these shades really work best, especially when dealing with the pearlescent shades. Again, the pearlescent shades are a little bit of a funky formula, but I found the best result was using the cream products as a base. I don't have a bad thing to say about the formula. They work so well with the matte shades, and I like that they're great on their own, but they also can be used as like a building block to the look. It's impossible to fuck them up. If you think you're gonna fuck them up, it's impossible. They are foolproof, they're perfection. I need more of them. Now, when it comes to the mattes, fuck, I love them so much. Like, they are so goddamn good. How is it legal? Like how? Like this is amazing. You know, it's funny, like I remember the first palette and being obsessed with the mattes and the cream shadows, but it's like I kind of forgot. I don't know, like when I started playing with this palette, it was like my mind was blown all over my face. These are somehow better. They're incredibly pigmented, meaning a little bit does go a long way. I didn't experience any fallout, any kick up. There is a little bit of fallout with the darkest matte shade, but overall incredibly easy to clean. The powders are so delicate and soft, but you're not gonna experience any patchiness, any dustiness, any difficulty blending, or like longevity issues. They're great. They are wonderful. The blend between the mattes are really awesome, and it really takes you no time at all to make a beautiful seamless gradient. My favorite thing about this palette is to create an all matte look. And while this is a monochromatic palette, you do get a nice variety of dimension between the mattes. And the combination of both warm and cool is a nice touch. Often I find that these kind of rose tones are a little bit on the warmer side, so it's nice to see the balance between the two. The only thing I wish is that there is a light light pink shade in here, and it's incredibly pigmented. I wish this was a scotch lighter because I think it would make for a killer inner corner highlight. Think of it kind of more of like a whitish pink shade. I think that would have been really, really pretty. It's still great on its own, and I really loved using that shade, especially when blending out edges, but I think it would be so pretty as an inner corner highlight. But it does look really, really nice in the inner portion of the lid. Now, I'm gonna move on to my least favorite section about this palette, and it's the shimmers. Now, it's interesting. In the first palette, the shimmers were god-awful. They were incredibly difficult to use, and the formula felt like sandpaper. They were so fucking chunky. And so while this palette is an improvement from that old formula, I'm incredibly happy to report that these didn't cut my fucking eyeballs, okay? Unlike that first palette where it really legitimately felt like I was slicing my eyes open, this one doesn't, so that's a win. But I still think the formula could be fine-tuned. Now, there are two pearl topper shades. You have, I believe this one's Lust and this one's Romance. Okay, they're very, very chunky. Like Rogue ground beef crumble chunky. And it's not delicious. The fallout from these shades, oh my god, it will appear as if Tinkerbell came out of nowhere and took a hot shit on your face. The bukkake is so brutal to clean, good luck fishing this out of your fucking pores. When applied with glitter glue, the toppers were incredibly lackluster, which is interesting because you would think they would be somehow more impactful, but unfortunately it's not. It's more impactful if you finger yourself. Now, if used with no base, the sparkle is kind of non-existent. It takes a little bit to show up. And again, you know, that's fine. It makes sense, right? Because it's a topper. But when I think about other eyeshadow toppers I have, even on a bare base, they show up. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? It's a little weird. However, there is a silver lining here. What worked for me with those two shades was using a finger or just layering it over one of the cream shadows. Now, don't get me wrong, you do have to go back and forth quite a few times. But once it's built up, you do have a very pretty glassy eye moment. It's very, very pretty, but it's more on the subtle side, while I usually prefer something that's a little bit more alien slide. So with all the little hand holding you need to do, it looks nice, but compared to the rest of the palette that's impactful upon application, it kind of makes you wonder like, what happened here? Romance is like a pinky gold. It's interesting. Lust has like a pinky kind of green reflect. On my finger, it looks fucking stunning. When I do a swatch, it looks pretty. On the eye, it's just not as impactful. I don't know why. I think the shade Romance, it's a little bit more brighter, a little bit more poppier compared to Lust, but I want Lust to work. It has that beautiful green shift, and I don't know why I can't fucking see it on my eyeball. It's so goddamn annoying. It's such a cock tease. But I mean, what I'm able to create, which is what I have on my face today, like I think it's cute, like it's pretty. I just want to see a little bit of that green flip. I think it would just look so fucking cute. I don't, it's kind of annoying. But anyway. Now there's another pearl shade in the palette, and that is Desire. And I actually like this one better than the pearl toppers. This one's super, super impactful compared to the two. And it has a very beautiful, like rosy, kind of orangey kind of a look. It's very, very nice. And I didn't experience any of the bullshit that I did with the other two shades. It had excellent longevity, worked really, really great with glitter glue and a finger, and I didn't have any issues with chunkiness. Like this is pretty seamless on the lid. Now the best shimmer formulas in my eyes in this palette is this darker shade, which I believe is Affair. I never understand how to read the back of the palette. And the first one being Loyal. These are very, very nice. The formula is incredibly smooth. It's beautifully pigmented. It feels very rich. And again, it works really great with glitter glue or a finger. Now there is some fallout with this formula, but a bit easier to clean compared to the pearl toppers. Longevity was great. And again, I didn't experience any issues with like texture or flakiness. And even with the pearl toppers, I didn't experience any flaking throughout the day, which is nice. It's just, I think this formula is better than that. And I have to say, probably out of all the shimmers, my favorite one was the shade Affair over here, which is this beautiful rich burgundy. It really makes for a beautiful smoky eye, especially when paired with the cream shadows. So like I mentioned, I picked this up during the Sephora sale, and I'm glad that I did. I think saving 20% made me feel a little bit better about the price tag. I think overall there are more pros than cons with this palette. The formula, at least 85 to 90%, I think is absolutely beautiful. It's easy to work with. It's incredibly pigmented, blends like a motherfucking dream, and has fantastic longevity. The cream formula found in this palette can not only be used as a base, and a long-lasting base, might I add, or they could simply be used on their own. If you are using them on their own, you're not going to face any issues with creasing. Again, I cannot stress how good this formula is, and the day that they release, fingers crossed, an all cream palette, I will be the fucking first person in line to buy it. Now, the mattes, hands down, some of the best mattes I probably have ever used. I don't say that lightly. I'm impressed, and I'm dreaming of the next time I get to use this palette. Well, yes, they're basic. The formula is so nice. To me, it's incredibly impressive to get a really beautiful seamless blend without it being overall muddy or spending 25 minutes going back and forth just to make a difference between the shades. The mattes truly do the work for you. So between the mattes and the cream shadows, I think this palette's definitely worth checking out. Now, when it comes to the shimmers, while these were better compared to the previous palette, I still feel work can be done to fine tune them. They leave me wanting more, and I'm getting makeup blue balls because of it. Now, I filmed an upcoming Sephora haul, right? And you're gonna see that video on Friday. Now, in that video, I mentioned I thought I was having an allergic reaction to this palette. My eyes were tearing up so badly, and I felt like the outer portion of my eyelid was kind of a little bit red, a little bit crusty, a little bit leaky. It was really fucking gross, to be honest. And I assumed it was because it's berry shades. Now, I say that because I had the same reaction when I used some shadows from Natasha Denona. So I was like, ah, fuck, like this is such a nice palette, but now like I can't really use it because I'm having a reaction to it. I'm happy to say that I have used this palette a lot since then. And I think it's just my allergies were acting up, thank God, because I really do not want to stop using this palette. I like it that much. That would truly break my heart if I was truly allergic to this one. So yeah, she's not perfect, but then again, who is? But as I've mentioned, I think there are more pros than cons to this palette. Now, $68 is steep, very steep. And even if you do participate in the Sephora sale, like, is it worth it? Yes and no. This is a basic bitch rose monochromatic palette. So I feel very limited regarding how many looks I can create when using this palette. While I'm happy that nothing blends together to just be one color, many of the looks that I created in today's video kinda seemed very similar. So I can see someone getting incredibly annoyed thinking, I'm gonna get a lot of versatility out of this, and in reality, it's not as much as you think. But in that same breath, all the looks that you are gonna create are incredibly fucking solid. Yes, I could see this being a go-to, but it's gonna be a little bit like Groundhog's Day. But it's also a foolproof palette. So do you see what I'm saying? I really do love that you can create a beautiful dimension between the shades. And I love, while yes, the shades are a little bit similar, when adding them to the eye, you notice that each one of them is kind of like a little puzzle piece when added together. And the fact that none of the shades get lost is fantastic. Now, yes, I wish some of the shimmers would have operated better. And while yes, it's better than the first palette, some work needs to be done. So yes, while the colors aren't super unique, the formula, especially when it comes to creams and powders, is really top fucking notch. And it also helps if you do have blue eyes. This palette is truly made for someone who has blue eyes. It's a nice rose palette without looking like pink eye. So overall, I'm happy with my purchase because I got it at a discount. Had I paid full price, I don't know, I think I would be a little bit like, it's good, but I wish I could have got it cheaper. So if you're interested in this rosy color story, I don't think you'll be disappointed. But do yourself a favor and save some goddamn money. If you cannot pick it up at Sephora, I'm pretty sure it's still available on Patrick Ta's website. And I think if you are a first-time buyer, you can save like 10 or 15% off. So definitely go check it out. Now I want to hear from y'all. Let me know down below if you're interested in picking up this palette or if you're going to be skipping out. Let me know because I love hearing from you. And with that said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button, it's free, and hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, to all my beautiful, wonderful patron bubbies. Thank you so much for keeping this delicious, disgusting, filthy, trashy, really filthy, really gross, really nasty, really nasty, but very rosy. Garbage boat afloat. I couldn't do without you. I love your adorable little delicious faces. Thank you for just being incredibly sweet and lovely, and I love you so much. If you want to know what is currently on my face, along with where to get this product, everything you need to know will be listed down in the description box below. And I'll see you little pumpkins later. Bye!